everyone, for joining us. This is me, by myself, Acekingoffsuit, the man known as the main squeeze for some reason. I don't know why. I still don't know why. I don't think I'll ever know why. But that's okay, because I have someone, even though I'm the main squeeze, there's someone who outranks me here today. Because joining me at this moment, not just a normal man, but a saint. Of course, I am talking about SaintCola. How you doing, sir?
When you intro me like that, I feel fantastic. I guess I feel a little bit blessed, to be here. So thank you for inviting me. How are you doing, Ace?
I'm.
Doing okay?
You know what? I'm okay. I'm living. I'm living. I don't need to be living luxuriously. I'm just living.
Yeah,
As
I
long
like
as
that. I like
we
that.
in there. That's all that matters. So, man, what's up? What are you up to right this moment? I know you've got a lot going on.
Actually, I'm in that nice lull period. I just came back from PAX West doing commentary there for Guilty Gear. And now I'm in this like nice lull period where you just wait for the emails to come through. You wait for a few more confirmations, and you're like, okay, we're back on the train. But I'm like right in that nice little period of just chilling right now.
For someone who
Okay.
does work freelance, a lot of people in the FGC do. What advice do you have for them trying to live that life?
Hmm. My biggest piece of advice is do not use this as your only form of cash flow, like at all. Do not do it, especially when it comes to commentary. You don't control when you're selected all the time. You don't always control how much you'll get paid, and you don't always control when you get paid too. You have net 30, net 60, sometimes net never. So if you're doing this just for money, it's not the route. This is not the way.
Are you saying that there are tournament organizations out there that will claim to give you money and then just not give you money? That's absurd to me.
Who could have known?
That
Who could have known? I will be honest though. I will be honest. It hasn't happened to me too much. I've gotten paid by everything I've done recently, so I can't speak to it too much. But I've definitely talked to a lot of commentators that have had it happen, and there's always the chase down of like, hey, it's that 30, but it's like 60 days past, like what's going on? So there's things that you have to do to maybe chase down stuff. But it has happened to other people. It probably will happen to me, so it'll happen to you too.
you you've been one of the people who have been on the absolute come up uh, over the last couple years. Uh, you're let's start at the beginning though. Where how
Okay.
how did you enter this entity known as the FGC?
You know, I've been in the FGC for years, like way back. Like I started playing with Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, and I was do the Bernstein Bear effect or whatever, where you're like it's Championship Edition. I've caught myself doing that a million times. I'm older than most people think. I'm in my like my almost mid 30s now, so like I'm older than what most people think. So I've been in the scene for a while. I wasn't really the kind of person who traveled a lot. I was in the Midwest a lot. Um, I didn't really go to like a lot of tournaments and stuff. I was a homebody. I went, SRK forums and stuff like that, IRC forums and things like that, Game FAQs, all those other forums and stuff. I didn't actually start leaving, two tournaments, two other events besides the sporadic ones that were like very very local until like I came to Chicago in 2010. And at that point, I started going to my boy Kevin Fair's tournaments. He would have those for Street Fighter 4 and stuff like that, Marvel and stuff. I would show up there, but I never really got into like the offline, like beating people and stuff like that till Street Fighter 5. That was actually the point where I was like, all right, let me become a part of the offline. There's humans out here. Let me talk to them. Let me speak to them.
It feels weird because, for a long time we talked about the '09ers being the new people,
Mm-hmm.
and now at this point they're like 12, 13-year veterans. There are people coming into the scene who have never known life without those '09ers.
Mm-hmm. It's wild. Oh, you're making me shrivel up right now. You're making me reverse Benjamin Button out here.
Old man's club, old man's games. I'll send you the card in after we're done. You'll get the
Mm.
membership. Uh, the early bird special coupons, I got you.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Midwest though, you're from Chicago.
I have to correct because most people think I'm from Chicago because I've been in Chicago for about like over 10 years, and I claim Chicago as my city. But I previously used to live in a place called Peoria, which is 3 hours away from Chicago. That's where I, grew up, kid and stuff like that, and my teenage and adult life, part of that. But I, as my home though, like what feels like home is Chicago. So I always claim Chicago. Like I'm always like, yeah, I'm a Chicagoan. They're like, where you live before that? It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's like your life is split into before Chicago and after Chicago.
Yeah. AC and BC.
But Chicago, Peoria, Illinois, the entire Midwest sort of gets slept on a lot because whenever you hear people talk about fighting game scenes, it's always, oh, NLBC, oh, Wednesday Night Fights, it's East Coast, it's West Coast. What's it like seeing more shine get on the Midwest as of late?
I actually have one of the benefits, I guess, of COVID was giving people in the Midwest a way to shine. For me, I got a lot more opportunities because of the online tournaments. So I got a lot more of that. Oh, this guy, even though he's from the Midwest, he's good. Let me put him on and stuff like that. Same thing with the players too, who have had they made waves before COVID, like Dual Kevin and such. But then you have like events dedicated to the Midwest. You have a lot more popping out or including the Midwest. So you have Casa, when that was going on. You had Digital Havoc, the online local and stuff like that. So you see a lot of Midwest players doing really well out there. Obviously NLBC too, like our own Lizard Man doing work out there, getting top 8. And then you have the Midwest CPT that Capcom put on, which is kind of controversial because people are like, well, why would you have something for the Midwest? Like why does it matter that they get a regional selection? But in my opinion, I've watched the Midwest clean up a ton of players. I've watched them. We've had a dude named Stack Bradford. He went over to, I forgot what the tournament was, but he beat Idazan. So like, or was it Storm Kubo? One of the Abigail players at the time. He beat one of those. So like the players have the potential. If you give them a place to play, you give them a thing to work towards. We are just like any other region. We have that strength, the ability to do that stuff too, to get to that top. So recently, it's been great to see them. It's like this should have been happening previously.
And it seems like that's one of the benefits of what's changed during COVID. We are starting to see the other side, though. I know you just talked about coming back from PAX West, doing an offline event. Do you think, as we see more offline events, do you think that there are things that will carry over from this sort of time period into this new normal, whatever it looks like?
I think so. I'd like to think that I'll do more events in the offline kind of side of things. And I think the people that do put in a lot of work in the online tournaments that really do the in work. I'm not just saying like, oh, I've commentated something, they brand themselves right and all that stuff like that. They promote what they need to. They really do the hustle that is necessary to be a good commentator. I think those people will still shine outside when we start going to offline events. I think also it's opening people's minds to being like, we got to let these other players, we got to invite some of these players that we didn't know, like Rob TV. We got to start inviting this dude some invitationals and stuff like that. He's good. Also, he's a good host too. So these people need to be included in these discussions instead of just grabbing them from the same places. But there is still, I think, the aspect of, I think we might have that. Let's go back to what we were doing a little bit too, to stay a little bit more solid, like to be safe. Like let's not rock the boat too much if we don't have a lot of money. And this isn't about like talent or whatever. This is just like, how we usually do stuff for tournaments and stuff like that. Like we don't have the funds that we're coming back from COVID. So maybe, tournaments might, or tournament organizers might think, let's try to go back to what we did a little bit before we start experimenting, with all those cool, fancy ideas like team tournaments and stuff like that. They may not happen as consistently, but it may build up to that.
You're another one of those people that really, it feels like you glowed up over the last year and a half. Because, like, all of a sudden you were like commentating everything. You're doing all of these different things, including, by the way, congratulations, getting into Evo.
Yeah.
What, what was that journey like? Going from, you know, how did, first of all, what did you do to get there?
Oh boy. It's it it's funny because I'll talk to people, I'll tell them this, and they'll have no clue because all it looks like is that I jumped to a bunch of events and I commentated a lot of events. But during COVID, like right when COVID started, I was like, I don't want to stop because I had money saved up. I was gonna go travel. I was gonna try to, put my name into some commentary things and see how things went. Then COVID hit, and I was like, well, I don't want to quit. I don't want to, leave this stuff. I love commentating. Like this, I love doing it. It's a fun hobby. I love, talking about Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, Gray and Blue. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as I love it, right? So I was like, I don't want to stop doing this. Let me see what's going on in the online sphere. And I just be like, hey, you guys need a commentator? And they're like, yeah, yeah, sure, pop on the mic. And then because my job is at home, because I write for Red Bull, I don't have to do too much. I don't have to like do too much to leave and it's X out of my time too much. I can like, okay, I'll schedule myself for this commentary block, and then after, let's go to work or I'll write out whatever I need to write out, right? So I didn't really think about the grind part. I wasn't like, I need to grind 5 tournaments a week or whatever. It just kind of happened because it made me happy, made me, I guess, feel a little bit more normal. And it kind of gave me that element of like, I get to interact with people, players in Twitch chat or whatever, or the people watching. And it just became a thing where it's like, I just wanted that feeling of normal and to give people that feeling of normal back to them and, provide some hype for these smaller events and things like that. And then eventually, um, this was after doing a bunch of Wednesday night fights and a bunch of tournaments and stuff. I got hit up in the Discord by Vi, and he was like, "Hey, you want to do CPT online?" I was like, "Wait, what? Like me?" He's like, "Yeah, you've been doing a lot of work. It's time for your shot." And then that's when everything just went like that, like just soared up. I did CPT. I've done a ton of like finals, invitationals, and stuff like that. This year, I've done the Intel World Open for the Olympics, which is ridiculous. Did the season finals this year too as well. Um, Evo, as you just said, and hopefully more. Hopefully more. Hoping for more.
All right, let me try and list all this off. You do commentary with CPT. You've done commentary with Evo. You work with Panda Global. You work with Combo Breaker. You write for Red Bull. How in the world do you keep track of all of these projects that you have going on?
So people like this is a peek behind my curtain. This is how I do the commentary. I actually have a Google Doc for every character, for whatever game that I'm commentating, in a general one. I'm always filling them out with information, always changing stuff, always watching VODs and stuff like that, constantly of both Guilty Gear and Street Fighter right now. I'm practicing. I probably practice with 10 matches per day on the minimum. That means I go in and I look at like the content scalpers out there, like, yo, look at the CFN match, and like I'll practice over that. Like I'll probably do about 10 a day on the minimum side of things. And then I'll talk to other top players, get their opinions about stuff, always just be talking back and forth so I keep my knowledge straight. And then I'm looking at things for, vocal patterns and stuff like that. I'll read about that stuff a lot more now, which I've more recently done. And then when I have time, I try to stream. And then beyond that, I do the writing for Red Bull, which I schedule myself, enough time to get the information, write about the people and stuff like that. But this is all, it doesn't feel like work. So it doesn't feel like it's busy work to me. Like I'll end my day and I'll be like, dang, I did a lot. But if I look back, it doesn't feel like it's work. It doesn't feel like it's pressure. But even with everything around that, even outside of the commentary where I'm like helping promote stuff, where I'll clip stuff from streams and put up on Twitter. So hey, I was commentating this event. Look at this great thing. Go check out the VODs there, or whatever. Or working for Panda or shooting stuff. It doesn't feel like it's work. So thankfully, it keeps me not stressing out. Like I actually used to work at a library on a side job, but they closed that down because of COVID, and Panda Creation has kind of taken place of that. So now I get to work pretty much fully in esports. It's a lot of stuff at once that's in esports, but it's enough that we do okay out here.
Is there anyone who you've really patterned yourself or tried to learn from within the FGC on your journey?
One of the biggest people that have really, there's like actually two people that have really shown me like what grind really means. It was Rob TV and Sharpie. those two people, Black Excellence, by the way, those two people have really shown me what it means to grind, like to really put down that work. And I think when people think of even just for commentary, it's like, well, I'll just sit on the mic and I'll just do this. But like, what else are you doing after that? Before that, what are you doing to study the game? Are you practicing before you even hit these events that are local or regional, whatever? You know, what are you doing to keep yourself up? Are you making the right connections? Are you keeping out of trouble? Which I see some of you people not keeping out of trouble. But all these things, that's part of the grind too, which, you know, I didn't really catch until I saw Sharpie and Rob really do those things. And I was like, I gotta keep up too. Like, I see what they're doing. I gotta be in that lane too.
With all the opportunities that have come your way, is there one moment or one particular event that stands out above all the rest?
It's gotta be something from Poland. It's gotta be you know what? I feel like there's a couple. Being blessed enough to commentate um the C region or the Intel World Open, I have a lot of friends that are out there, and being able to commentate my friend Brandon's is his win against Sheehan, he was a great person, but to see Brandon win over Sheehan was like that was great. And to be able to commentate a scene that I've been watching for years on the Versus Weekly and stuff like that, and the local scene, interacting with a lot was really just lucked out really well. I think the other thing was being in a Polish rap video, which was completely wild. We were walking, and all of a sudden they were like, "Yo, we're shooting a video. Y'all want to be in it?" So we were the hype men in the background. It's me, Javits, F Word, Rob, and we were just just dancing in the back. I'd probably say Poland as a whole would probably be that coolest thing that I've done this year. I know it's kind of a cop out answer, but just being out in a different country, the first time for me, and being able to commentate beside people I haven't been able to commentate with, and at what would be, I guess, the biggest level since it's the Olympics is was ridiculous. And something I was not expecting. I woke up one morning, I looked at my email, and they're like, "You want to be a caster / analyst?" I'm like, "Is this a trick? Is this like a is this a joke, or is this a scam?" So like, that had to have been probably the best experience. And I'd say, yeah, I'd say Poland. Yeah, I'd say Poland.
You cannot talk about a Polish rap video that you're in and not drop the link.
I will find the link for y'all so y'all can see it. It is let's just say the FGC, we cross some boundaries. We cross some boundaries, people.
So that's instantly like top 3 FGC crossover moments. It's like it's the Polish rap video. It's Yipes and Sherry getting their voices dubbed for that Japanese hot dog thing.
Yeah.
I don't know who's number 3, but that's 1 and 2 right there.
You got Marvel versus Capcom, the Yipes and Sherry, and then the FGC and the Polish rap video.
That's it. We can't top the Polish rap video. That's it. We're done. Where can people find you?
Where can people find me? Y'all can find me at @_SaintCola on Twitter, and then Twitch on twitch.tv/Saint_Cola. I'm streaming the drink where basically come through, and I usually have something in the background like Street Fighter or Guilty Gear, but I'm usually talking about stuff or shooting stuff for the Panda FGC channel. Y'all can check that out too. There's a Panda FGC channel you can find on YouTube. Make sure y'all check that out. Hit the sub button. I gotta say, hit the sub button. Also hit the sub button. The best of out here too as well. Give them some love too as well. I got a show for y'all too. Y'all be doing some good work.
See, I don't even need to do my job. You do it for me. We'll appreciate you spending some time with us. Thank you very much. I'll see you later, and we will see you later. Remember, hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button. I'm a YouTuber now, so I can say smash
There
that.
you go. Yeah.
Oh, man. Thank you. We will see you again soon.